moment, however, the very idea of costumes seemed frivolous. Besides, the dark hair didn't flatter her complexion. Reaching up, she yanked the wig from her head. "Joan!" she called sharply. The second housemaid had doubled as young lady's maid ever since Sterling had dismissed Margaret's Abigail. The experienced lady's maid, Miss Durand, was busy arranging Mother's hair. Margaret sniffed. As if it mattered how well a married woman looked. Her future didn't depend on appearing her prettiest that night. Joan, a thin, practical housemaid in her mid-20s, hurried in carrying a lace cap and the cape she had been pressing. She tripped over Margaret's dressing gown, bunched on the carpet where Margaret had let it fall. Why had Joan not picked it up? "Do be careful," Margaret snapped. "I don't want my cape ruined or the cap crushed." "Yes, miss." As Joan righted herself, irritation flashed in her eyes. Well, she had only herself to blame. After all, it was Joan's job to tidy the room and care for Margaret's clothes. "I need you to dress my hair," Margaret said. "I've decided not to wear the wig after all." "But—" The maid bit her lip, then sighed. "Yes, miss." Joan had secured Margaret's blonde hair in a tight knot to accommodate the wig. But now she would need to unpin, curl, arrange, and repin her hair with soft height and curls at her temples to flatter Margaret's somewhat round face. She hoped a simple housemaid was up to the task. Margaret guessed she would have to talk her through the process. Margaret herself had become quite adept at arranging her sister's hair. Enjoyed it, actually. Fortunately, Caroline hadn't yet come out and was not attending the ball, otherwise 3 Macy women would never be ready in time. Joan unpinned the knot and began brushing out Margaret's fair locks, using, Margaret thought, a bit more force than necessary. "Gentle, Joan. I have no wish to be bald." "Yes, miss." Margaret had often been told her fair golden hair was her best feature. She couldn't, on this night of nights, cover it up. She would need all the appeal she could muster if her plan had any hope of succeeding. Margaret entered, wearing the simple blue gown, apron, and mask, with a small lace cap atop her glorious hair and a milk pail in hand. Studiously ignoring the young man beside her, she surveyed the ballroom. The goddess Diana laughed with a sultan in turban and flowing robes, Egyptians in headdresses, jewels spangling their foreheads, danced with gypsies. Punch's wife mingled with beggars. Some people sacrificed anonymity for attractiveness, others, especially those wearing the ubiquitous dominoes, masks over their faces and hooded capes, were unrecognizable. The gay music, colorful costumes, laughter, and jesting created a carnival-like atmosphere. But the jovial feeling didn't reach Margaret and did nothing to ease her anxiety. She saw him across the ballroom, and her muscles tensed, a lithe cat fixing upon her prey. Yet she feared she would be the one left injured. Louis Upchurch wore a rakish patch over one eye, but was otherwise perfectly turned out in fine evening attire of black tailcoat, pristine white waistcoat and cravat, knee-length pantaloons, and polished shoes. He stood talking to a man and woman. The man she recognized as Louis's friend Piers Saxby. He wore a tricorn hat and kerchief, looking very like engraving she had seen.